So, orthorexia is characterized in the spectrum of disordered eating. So, it's not quite in the DSM right now, as if it were like anorexia or bulimia or binge eating or something like that. But it is basically on the spectrum of disordered eating. And it is an obsession and a preoccupation with healthy eating. But with orthorexia, usually it becomes overwhelming. It becomes all encompassing. There's a lot of restriction that comes with it. There's a lot of fear, right? There's fear of going to someone else's house and not knowing what's in the meal or the food that they provide and not being able to eat. There's fear of social eating. So there's a lot of fear and guilt and shame that goes along with it. And usually it becomes like more and more progressively restrictive where it takes over. And when we're looking at the literature, this term in general is very new. It's not much older than even 10 years. And the hard thing about orthorexia research is because it's not in the DSM, there's not a clear cut and dry, there's not a clear and characterized diagnostic criteria at this point of this is like either you have it or you don't. It's a spectrum. And along with that, it's different for every person, right? It's very hard. When you do look at the research, the studies are a bit all over the place, but especially in like young adults, the research is saying anywhere between 25 to 30% of populations are struggling with this. And like I said, that's just from a handful of studies that are out there right now, but some will say less, some will say more. It's hard when the criteria is not quite there yet.
Did you say 35%? I think maybe she said 3 to 5%.
No.
That's a lot. I was wondering, I feel like when we had this conversation, just us two last time, I talked a lot about like how I feel like social media and specifically TikTok I didn't know the term before, but I can recognize where I might have seen something like that on social media. Do you think that's how this term came about, or does it match when social media was just becoming super popular?
I don't know when the term itself was coined, but I absolutely think social media plays a huge component in how quickly this has spread. Because if we're thinking pre-social media, and that's probably before your time, Nadia, before social media, diet information and especially diet misinformation and some of these individual diet nuances were never shared to the masses in the mainstreams.